I call on Takutai Tarsh Kemps to make her maiden speech to the House.
Tēnā koe te pika. Nō wai te reo e karanga I te takutai Moana Nō te mangai o nāriki E ho rānei te ora. Te matua tama wairua tapu, me nā ānahira pono. Ko te māngai hei tautoko mai, ai nei ake nei ai. E nā iwi i ngā reo, e nā mana morehu maha, tēnā koutou katoa. E koima, e koroma, nā orangatanga ake rātou mā kua whiturangi hia, tēnei tā koutou tamaiti e mihi atu ana ki tō ao huri huri, tēnā koutou, tēnā mai tātou katoa. Ko au te wai ko au, ko tāheke nā wai o runga, ka rere nā wai o raro, ka pari nā wai o waho, ka pūheke ngā wai o roto, ka māringi nā wai o uta, ka tere nā wai o tai, ko au ko Takutai Moana. Tihei mauri wai, tihei mauri ora. E kore au e ngaro he kākano I rui mai e rangiatea. I come from an institution of Te Ahu Kāroa. And this is my story of how I arrived here as the elected MP for Tamaki Makaurau. Mr. Speaker, I humbly but proudly stand here as your new MP for Tamaki Makaurau. I may be new to this whare, but I am not new to the whānau ora kaupapa and the challenges we continue to face as Māori, and particularly the challenges for my Tamaki Makaurau whānau whānui. I feel fortunate to be afforded this opportunity by my people. I was brought up surrounded with aroha and connection. I discovered what love, strength, protection and support looked and felt like. Now more than ever, it is pivotal that I bring the same all-encompassing concepts of whānau ora and passion to this whare. E te pika, in te ao Māori, to know who you are, to know where you are from, and to know where you are from is to know where you are going. I wish to acknowledge my whakapapa and those that got me here today. They're all here in this whare. I am the mātāmua of Clark Karaka Kauika Stevens and Nairi Ann Te Hirata Kauika Stevens ni Stedman. I was named Takutai Moana after my father's mother, Takutai Moana Nora Wirihana Tawake. Both my parents were hard-working, community-focused, whānau-driven, and very, very loving parents. I want to acknowledge my parents today who are here. This is where my whānau ora seed was sown. Raised by my grandparents, my nana Takutai Moana was my world. She had 18 siblings, a descendant of Ngāti Paurua, Ngā Rauru and Ngāti Maniapoto. She was given that name when she was baptised as a morehu of the Ratana faith. Nana married my papa, Te Mānia Tūrere Sani Kauika Stevens, also of Ngāti Paurua and Ngā Rauru. Together, these Ngāti Paurua born and bred veterans raised not one, but two, but 24 children, 6 of their own, and the rest were my dad's first cousins. I was brought up with them, and they are my village. Many are here today surrounding this whare. Tēnei te mihi kia koutou oku mātua, oku waine, oku kati. My father enlisted in the Corps of the Royal New Zealand Engineers and was posted to Linton Army Camp in 1977. The following year, the wakapakanga of our whānau arrived, my sister, Liara Jade, Tārete, tangi tūohu, tēnei te mihi nui ki a koe I taku tuahine. From Martin to Singapore as Dad served, I then headed to Takutai Marae in Waitōtara Valley, South Taranaki, to be raised by my grandparents at 7 years old. As it is common tikanga for the eldest mokopuna to be brought up by their grandparents in Te Ao Māori. Nana and Papa had returned home to Ngāti Paurua to rebuild Takutai Marae and to build our whānau papakainga. This was the start of my marae upbringing as I lived there and attended Ngā Matapōuri school. Takido is where I was immersed in tikanga Māori and brought up to Manaaki people, particularly under the leadership of my grandmother. She made many decisions for the mahi that needed to be done, even from her bed. Takido was a busy marae. We had many hui and wānanga, including hosting international manuhiri. Papa taught taiaha and had rongoa wānanga with Auntie Olive Bullock, waiata wānanga with Uncle Delvanius Prime, Morven Simon and Uncle Rongopai Broughton, and many others. My papa and Uncle Delvanius composed a waiata together called Pupuritia, which was recorded by Moana and the Moa Hunters. It's a waiata about retaining and passing on te reo Māori me ōna tikanga. Kia mau ki te reo Māori, ako nā koutou tamariki, he reo rangatira, nā te mātua I te rangi pupuritia. It is ironic that we still, to this day, are debating whether we use or speak te reo Māori in this very house. Toitu te kupu, toitu te reo Māori. Everything I know can be attributed to my upbringing at Takutai Marae, our whānau a ahika. At 10 years old, I was in charge of two of the most crucial jobs on our marae, the logistics of the pantry in our wharekai, and in charge of all my cousins. But don't ask the one sitting up there. But they know it's true. I will always be grateful for my whānau who raised me at home. On my whenua, surrounded by my cousins, we're proud to be Māori. Even though my papa was a composer of waiata and karakia, my grandparents never spoke or taught Māori to us. And this was because Nana was beaten by her teachers at Rangimārie school in the Waitōtara Valley for speaking Māori. Like so many of their generation, the trauma and suffering experienced at the hands of our then government, they never spoke te reo to us, their mokopuna, even on our marae. I want to mihi to my mother's grandparents, Rongo Kino and Paura Hikanui, Koko Mum and Koko Dad, known to many of us, who were influential in the revitalisation of te reo Māori through te raukawa o wānanga. Te wānanga o raukawa. Today, from the removal of bilingual signage on our national roads to rearranging the names of government agencies, the immediate actions of this coalition signals a strong reluctance to treasure our national language and taonga tuku ihoa. The potential impact this government can have on a whole generation saddens me, but also provides the drive and determination to show up for our mokopuna and hold steadfast in the face of adversity. I look forward to being an unapologetic voice in this whare as we face this adversity. This is our new reality, and we will not be silent bystanders. E tū rangatira tātou mai, e tētahi whakatupuranga e tētahi. I returned to my parents when I was 11 years old and went to Monrad Intermediate School at Palmerston North and strengthened my hononga to the Ratana Church. My whānau a morihu, my papa Sonny Kawika Stevens, my great-grandfather Paura Hikanui were Aotearoa. I spent many years at Ratana Pā and I mihi to the Tirikātini whānau. My papa's mother, Huatahi Peina Hawira, and my great-grandfather's sister, Mariana Hikanui, were part of the rōpū that travelled with Tahu Pōtiki Wiremu Ratana on his world tour in 1924. These two kuia remind me of my own whānau connections to a significant piece of history concerning the Tiriti grievances. The Party of 38 left Ratana Pā on April the 9th, 1924, returning on December the 24th after touring Britain, the US, Canada and Asia. Ratana carried a petition on the Treaty of Waitangi and land confiscations to present to King George V and the League of Nations. Ratana was searching for mutual remedies for the troubles that the government put on Māori. Again, it is ironic that today, in this whare, 100 years later, we are fighting for the same treaty grievances, toi tū te tiriti. Like my father's whānau, my mother's Stedman and Hekanui whānau from Taihape are also te ahi kāroa and continue to uphold their roles in this institution and governance and beneficiary roles with determined passion. This is reflected through our whānau contributions and participation in the hearings of our iwi claims against the Crown for breaches of te tiriti. My mother and two sisters attended all of these hearings with my cousins, and I led the rangatahi voice to support my mother's submission regarding the loss of te reo Māori. To quote my sister's words, whakahokia mai tōku whenua, tōku whakapapa, kia whakapiki ai tōku whānau me tōku wairua, return our lands and our identity, to uplift our whānau and spirit. Te iwi roa o te motu is a statement used in our current settlement negotiations for Moe mai pātia, and it refers to our iwi and our resources being the backbone of this country to this day. Resources that continue to be used by the New Zealand Defence Forces, Waiouru Military Training Area, the Tongariro Power Scheme construction, and use of the Mōwhango Dam and Awa, State Highway 1, and the main trunk railway that runs through Aotearoa. Incredibly, 74% or 58,000 hectares of our Māori-owned land are landlocked, with no legal access, although the government is the neighbour for much of this land. The expectation is that our settlement returns our land and our identity. Whakahokia mai tōku whenua me ōku whakapapa. It empowers our whānau and uplifts our spirits. Kia whakapiki ai tōku whānau me tōku wairua. And I mihi to my whanaunga, tama pōtaka, our whānau are watching us. At 14, we moved from the whenua to Tāmaki Makaurau. I soon left school to study at Auckland University, Te Wānanga Raukawa, with a focus on anthropology, health, education and mātauranga Māori. I worked as a community health worker supporting teenage hapu mama, working for Pūteo Pua midwifery support services in Aotearoa alongside the infamous leader and rangatira Sid Jackson. I was fortunate. He mentored me for many years. He always said to me, Tarsh, look after your people. They in turn will do anything for you. Manaakitanga 101 is important. In 1995, I had my son Te Mania Iriru Kawika Quinlan, and 2 years later, my daughter Tanya Jade Waimarie Kawika Fairbrother. They have brought a new understanding to love, strength, sacrifice and determination. Te Mania lives in Brisbane now with his wife Tale and my beautiful mokopuna Ludi Ann. And I'm so lucky that they are here today. Hi, my darling. I can feel their love. Even though they don't live in Tāmaki Makaurau, I feel their love every day with me, and I'm proud to be their mama and my Ludi's nanny. I then became the CEO of Te Kaho Te Rangatahi for 13 years, delivering sexual health education in schools, alternative education, intermediates, kura and wharikura. Here I learned the true value and love for working with rangatahi and the Takatapui community. I encouraged rangatahi to stand proud, that they had a voice, that they mattered and that they were valued. We developed one of the most successful suicide prevention programs called Talk to Me. The vision is you matter, your life matters, reach out, talk to me. That was our purpose, and I'm very, very proud of the mahi that we did as Te Kaho Te Rangatahi, and a big mihi to the whānau that are here today. As my children grew up in Tāmaki Makaurau, they delivered a love and passion for hip-hop dance. They spent 15 years with some of the most influential dance crews that were produced across Aotearoa through Desire Dance Academy. We always said hip-hop saved our lives as a whānau, and Desire was that life and our lifestyle for us. I went from the dance mime to become the New Zealand Hip Hop International Director, travelling the world through the World Hip Hop Dance Championships for 20 years. Last year I retired, but this year they gave it back to me, but in a new competition that's been grown and owned by Aotearoa. Wai, ko ngā rangatahi te take. In 2021, I was humbled to be acknowledged for my years of dedication to my hip-hop community when I was awarded an Officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit. Amohia ake te oro o te iwi ka pota ki te whai au. The health and well-being of our people is paramount. Until today, I was the active CEO of Rangimārie in South Auckland, where manaakitanga is at the forefront of how we uplift our community. We were the first marae set up to support whānau with vaccinations in Aotearoa. We were committed to putting our whānau's oranga first, to stand up and support them when the system was failing. We are one marae that delivered 65,000 vaccinations for all whānau across Tamaki Makaurau. I want to acknowledge my Manurewa marae whānau for championing the needs of our whānau. It takes courage, bravery to stand up for what your community needs and to navigate tikanga through uncertain times. To all our kaimahi who are here and those that couldn't travel, who have continued to hold the front line for our people, I mihi to you and your continuous unconditional arofo for our community. I will never forget the mahi that our marae did and what we stood for. Ka nui te aroha kia koutou. And now, because of you all, I am here. Thank you, Tamaki Makaurau, for believing in me. You are why I'm standing here today. You voted for change, and I will deliver that change for you all day, every day. Tamaki Makaurau is a vibrant city with 250,000 Māori. It is the Māori capital of the world. I have lived in Tamaki Makaurau for 35 years, raising my children with all our communities. In fact, I've raised many children across Tamaki Makaurau through my mahi of hip-hop. A lot of them call me auntie, a lot of them call me mum, and I'm proud of all of their efforts and achievements. I'm a ringaraupa, grassroots marae girl born and bred. Caring for whānau runs through my blood, just like my tūpuna, who 100 years ago fought for the rights for a tiriti-centric Aotearoa. Our future in Tamaki Makaurau and across the motu is on the right path with our tū Māori, for Māori, by Māori approach. I would like to recognise the Proud to be Māori movement of Te Pāti Māori that have supported 6 unapologetic Māori voices into this whare. We will not let you down, and I can promise you we will never be quiet. But in conclusion, I stand before you honoured and ready to represent and fight for Tamaki Makaurau. Not only from this tūru, but most importantly, shoulder to shoulder alongside you all. Our people have been left out of the conversation for too long, and we have been waiting for this moment for our voices to be heard and our passion to be felt, pushing for what is right for us as we know that what works for Māori will work for all of Aotearoa. I'm an advocate for whānau and the catalyst for change, our urban Māori in Tamaki Makaurau. I am your voice, I am your representative, I am here for you. I will strengthen whānau ora in our communities. Never forget, we are magic people. We live in an Aotearoa hau. We will walk and talk, and we are proud to be Māori. Toitu te reo Māori, toitu te whenua, toitu te tiriti. Believe in you, believe in me, believe in Māori. Kia ora.
Takutai Tarsh Kemp.
Tēnā koe I te pika, tēnā tātou I te whare. I'm taking a short call on the Immigration, Fiscal, Sustainability and System Integrity Amendment Bill. I'm rising on behalf of Te Pāti Māori, not just as a lawmaker, but as tangata whenua, as kaitiaki of this land and of the people who seek refugee upon it. While there are some positive elements in this bill, including protections against migrant exploitation, the requirements for the judicial warrants before immigration officers can enter people's homes after hours, ultimately we cannot support it. The bill, while dressed up in the language of fiscal responsibility and system integrity, reinforces a two-tiered immigration system. One rule for the rich, another for the poor. On one hand, we have the Golden Visa scheme, fast tracks residency and citizenship for the wealthy. On the other hand, the bill introduces harsher deportation powers for refugees, people who arrive with nothing but hope for a better life. By allowing the government to cancel resident visas of refugees, even if deportation would result in them being tortured in their homeland. This is not an immigration policy. This is class warfare disguised as legislation. Let's be clear, in the past 10 years, no one has been certified as being a national security risk under Section 163 of the Immigration Act 2009. Iti pika, te Pāti Māori leaves no one behind. The law reinforces a class system for migrants and reinforces the mentality that refugees pose a risk when they do not. While billionaires can buy their way into Aotearoa, refugees whānau who carry nothing but hope are treated like political pawns. Yes, there are some good provisions in the bill and we acknowledge those, but let us be absolutely clear. These small wins do not undo the deep injustice at the heart of this bill. The message remains wealth equals worth and poverty equals suspicion. It is hypocritical, it is elitist, and it is a breach of our values as a nation grounded in manaakitanga. We call on the government to rethink immigration policy in line with Te Tiriti o Waitangi and with the values of fairness, manaakitanga and rangatiratanga. Iti pika, te Pāti Māori leave no one behind, and we do not support the bill. Kia ora.
I mihi ana kia hana. She's a great advocate, rangatahi, that represents the largest population of Māori. She is the future of Māori and for te Pāti Māori. She comes as a mokopuna and a tauira of kohanga kura kaupapa wharekura, an author at 20. And you know what I love about rangatahi? They're vibrant, they have solutions, they see the world differently from those of us that are sitting at the party. They bring a new invigoration of life and of the world and how we fit into that as te ao Māori. She brings great strength in terms of being young and vibrant and mana wahine.